Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast with Jay Gordon Duncan. And if you're wondering why the J, the answer is I'm not a bagpipe player. And if that joke doesn't make any sense, I encourage you to check out episode 0, where I explain that joke, as well as the purpose of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast, where we talk about faith, family, fitness, finances, and sometimes fun. Hello, my friends. Great to see you again. Here we are. We are getting close to the end of the year. You should be listening to this somewhere around probably December 8th or 9th. And we are getting close to the end of the year. This is one of my favorite times where we are celebrating, we're rejoicing, we're together with friends, and hopefully reflecting and even better planning. I love the planning time that comes with the new year, the energy that comes with it, and all that it can be. I know that the last couple of weeks, we've really been talking about fitness and mental health. We talked about that with staying healthy during Thanksgiving, and we talked about the 31 for 31 plan last month. Thank you for your feedback on that. But now we want to talk about 2025. Now, I just want heads up, I have a seminar this Monday at 5:30 p.m. If you go to the Capitalize Your Best Facebook group, let me make sure the dates on that. That would be December 9th at 5:30 inside the Capitalize Your Best Facebook group. If you go there, you can participate, and we are going to talk about this very topic about making 2025 become 2020 alive. I want it to become just a season that's very alive for you. When I look at my reflections, I was thinking about last year. Last year I said was professionally, we had just massive growth in the business. And then I said it was my most successful running year ever in terms of accolades and rankings and that kind of thing. This year's been very different. It's been a harder year of growth. Capitalize has grown, but it's been a lot harder to do so. I spent the first 3 or 4 months of this year injured. So I only ran in like 3 races all year, but I qualified for Boston. And so it's interesting, like numbers wise, I might say 2024 was not as successful as 2023, but I can say reflectively, I look back and it's even more successful. The things I've learned and the things we've grown at Capitalized Marketing, I wouldn't trade any accolade running wise for qualifying for Boston. So actually more successful in one way than the other. It all comes down to how you measure it. So, but making 2025 2020 alive is really going to be how you define it, how you put together a plan to be successful. So I'm going to share with you some of the things I do every year and then give you some tips. And I'm going to encourage you again, come to the seminar on Monday night at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's virtual only. It's in the Capitalize Your Best group. You're going to need to go to the registration page, which I'll include in the links for you to attend, though, because that's where all the details are. So a couple of things I do every year. I do set out some running and health goals, and I'm working on those right now. Last year, it was to get healthy, to run Richmond and qualify for Boston. Those were only 3 goals I had last year. Usually I have all these big goals. I'm going to run an ultra marathon. I'm going to run 2,000 miles, that kind of thing. And last year, all it was get healthy, run Richmond, qualify for Boston. And thankfully, I was able to do all 3. I was so excited and thankful that I accomplished all 3. They were very hard. It was harder than running 2,000 miles. And I had some business goals. We hit some of them. We did not hit some others. But one thing I do every year. This book, I read this book, if I can hold up on the screen correctly, if you're watching, is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. I read it twice a year. I don't necessarily recommend Grant Cardone as a person, but that book, I have listened to it. I've read it. I've listened to the seminar. I've done the whole thing. I do it twice a year, January and July, because it's a book about setting goals and accomplishing them and our capacity. It's not a time management book by any stretch of the imagination. It's really a book about challenging us to think bigger and doing more and do bigger than we've ever done before. So I'm looking forward to listening to that. Last year, I actually think I listened to it at the end of December to prep myself. But that is always a reminder of what it takes When people are like, well, I don't want to work harder, I want to work smarter. And I always say, well, just do both. It's necessary. And this is about working smarter and harder. So that is absolutely essential. I think establishing goals for personal health that have accountability, bumper rails, that you're going to do it. So I am really worried. It's funny as I think through 2025, I don't know what my goal is going to be because the Boston I qualified for is in 2026. So I can improve upon my Boston time, and that's worthwhile. I've got the Run Big Land race in no, excuse me, in January, but I don't know what my running goals are, and I've got to think through that. It might be something very different. It might be me going to get certified in something, a certified trainer, certified yoga, certified runner. I don't know, but I'm thinking through that now. I am deep in thought about my business goals, about what I think is that's going to set us apart. I mean, I think Capitalize is well established. We're an educational marketing company. People come to us because they don't want us to do it for them. They want us to do it with them, and I think those are established well. But what now is the separator? For us, what separates us from the revenue and impact we're making to like a massive that 10 times impact revenue. We've got some things in place. I know that we're working on for that, but they're slow, and most success is. But I've also got to find a new rail to run on for a couple of things, and I'm really thinking through that. This is going to take, guys, for all of you, it's going to take dedicated time. You're not just going to figure out driving down the road. You might have an epiphany for one thing, but you've got to find a space to think through it, a planning retreat, a getaway, or something along those lines. Is absolutely necessary. I was talking to my friend Mary about my need for that just the other day, and she's like, "Why don't you just do it?" And I was like, "It's not easy to do." And she goes, "I know it's not easy to do. Why don't you just do it?" And I've really got to think through that. I've really got to think through it. Because I think I'm going to need a planning retreat of a day or two to just separate myself from all the noise and get some work done in a big way. And so that's on my plan. And so, really, guys, the seminar on Monday night is going to be some very practical steps for you. And I'm working through them myself, but it's about goal setting and putting together systems for those goals. Now, I have mentioned this before. My book of the year, I think in 2023, was Atomic Habits. And in the book Atomic Habits, there's the great quote of, "We don't rise to the level of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems," which means you can set all the goals you want, but if you don't create a system to meet those goals, you aren't going to achieve them. And so that's a book I'm thinking about revisiting at the beginning of the year as well. Because we have to put together a system to meet those goals. Otherwise, they just go away, and then the goal becomes a New Year's resolution or whatever. But guys, we live our lives by the systems we set up. And so what happens when people say I'm in a rut, that means we're just doing the same thing over and over again without a purpose. But when you have a purpose and then you have disciplines, those disciplines aren't a rut. So for example, my getting up and running every morning is not a rut. My getting up and drinking the same smoothie every morning is not a rut. Why? Because the running serves for my mental, my physical health. The smoothie is a healthy start every day. People are like, "Aren't you tired of doing that?" I'm like, no, because it fits a purpose. It keeps my brain healthy, keeps my body healthy. I'm trying my best to age in reverse. I want to make sure that I have longevity. All those things are necessary. So they're part of that plan. And so that's what's necessary. So, guys, I want to, this is in way an encouragement, and another, it's a preview. Please come to the 2020 Alive seminar. It's Monday the 9th, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. It's virtual. If you can run it in the background, but I really would like to see you there. I think it's going to help a lot of people get things set for the next year. It's going to help me. I'm finalizing what that seminar looks like right now. So please come on out. These are the processes I'm going through. I'm going to share you my mistakes. I'm going to tell you my wins, and along the way, share you with some resources that I think are going to get there. So guys, please come out. Again, you can only attend this if you go to the registration page, the Capitalize Your Best group, and the information is there. And so it'll be a private online seminar. So I would love to see you. Come on out. And guys, then I can't wait to find out all the goals you set and the plans you have. So make 2025, 2020 alive. And guys, I will see you then.